everyone. My name is Alyssa Gallardi. Today, we're going to be discussing the skills and mindset to dictate the D zone. We'll be breaking down what to look for from a player perspective, the skills to focus on, and how to build these skill sets in a progressive way to instill confidence in your players. So hockey is obviously a complex system with a lot of moving parts. We can't control everything within a given moment of the game, but we can always look to influence parts of these moments. So taking a step back here, we'll start today at a broad macro level. We'll peel back the layers as we dig into the specific skill sets and development opportunities for our players, and then we'll look to build those layers back up. So in an invasion sport like hockey, there are 4 macro moments within any game. We've got offense, transition to defense, defense, and transition to offense. Today, we'll be honing in on the moments of defense, specifically the moments of defense within our D zone when the opposing team has the puck. We'll think of this moment less about the typical defensive mindset of how can we prevent a goal and reframe to ask ourselves, how can we most quickly regain possession of the puck in these situations? So we'll discuss how we can develop our players' skills and mindset to dictate the play, force a stop, regain possession of the puck, and then look to transition to offense as quickly as possible. As we look ahead to a few video examples and the skills breakdown, we do need to identify the mindset and the why behind these skills. Without context or understanding of the why, the transfer of these skills into a game becomes much harder. So we build the why to connect the dots and make those connections right away. So when we talk about dictating the D zone, we do so because first, we need to teach players to control the tempo of the game, even when we don't have the puck. We don't just have to be reactive without the puck. We need players to be proactive and develop the mindset and skills to understand how to dictate the tempo and the space within the D zone. Second, we want to limit the effective ice. Effective ice is how much usable area a player has. Specifically, it's defined as the space that the person with the puck can pass or move into. We want to shrink this ice for the puck carrier as much and as quickly as possible. Lastly, we want to force offensive players to be reactive and interfere with their decision-making options. We want to utilize our skills to force an error by isolating or taking away their time and space and work to regain possession. Then once we've done that, we need to develop the awareness and recognition of that next play mentality in order to quickly and efficiently transition to offense. So we've covered the what and the why. Now we're going to transition into the how. So if we break down that macro moment of defense into micro moments, we have our next layer. So the micro moments of defense are to 1, isolate and disrupt, 2, terminate, and 3, dispossess. In other words, 1 is to isolate the puck carrier and limit their options, time and space. We want to keep them out of high percentage scoring areas and limit their effective ice to make plays. 2 is to terminate or close in and force a stop by sealing off the player and eliminate their chance of making a play by themselves or making a play to a teammate. And then 3, we want to win the puck and transition to offense. We want to regain possession and have that ability to make that next play. So obviously our players won't be thinking or have time to think about this in such a literal step-by-step way, but we can build our skills and practices to develop the instincts and mindset to start recognizing these automatically. So these micro moments are where our biggest opportunity for development lies, and we'll look at these opportunities and consider them our leverage points. Leverage points are skills that we can focus on and improve upon where a relatively small influence can have a big impact on everything. So in identifying these leverage point skills, we'll take a top-down approach when outlining them here, and then we'll build them back up from the bottom up with the foundational skills when we get on the ice. So first and foremost, we've got the eyes. Eyes refers to the awareness and the reads a players make. It's the information we take in to make adjustments and decisions to dictate the play. It's the awareness of the situation, knowing the handedness of the puck carrier, understanding the area where you're trying to influence the puck carrier and the play too. And it's knowing if you have support, where opposing players are, and knowing what the best option to take away is. Moving down from there, we have our hands and body. So hands and body refers to our technical posture. It's our stick positioning and our ability to stay square and stable to defend quickly. It's using our stick to take away lanes, make spaces look unappealing to the puck carrier. And it also refers to the moments of action where we steer and seal off the puck carrier to win possession. And lastly, feet. Feet refers to the footwork, the edge control, the ability to change directions quickly. It's the coordination to mix together different skating movements and patterns to gain and match speed and close off space. We must be able to quickly react to changing situations, and all while trying to limit the amount of crossovers we do while doing so. So these skills don't work in isolation. You can't really be just good at one of these skills and find success. They really all must work together. So we'll walk through a few great video examples of these skills in action. And then what we'll do is we'll focus on the clips. And within these clips, we'll focus on the awareness and reads the players are making, the stick and body positioning, and the footwork of these players as they isolate the puck carrier to force a stop, regain possession, and transition to offense. So this first one here is Jacob Slavin, who is easily one of the best players in the world at shutting down the opposition quickly. He's highlighted here where you can see he immediately takes away the middle of the ice. Then he's going to use his stick to steer the puck carrier to the outside. When the puck carrier cuts back, he re-gaps, doesn't hesitate because he recognizes the player was isolated, goes through the player's hands to win the puck. This is another Slavin clip where he immediately takes away the middle on the rush. On this one, the puck will go in deep. He takes a quick scan to recognize his check, matches the puck carrier's speed as the puck carrier touches the puck and starts going up the wall. And again, immediately isolates him to close off time and space and limit effective ice. He uses a little extra reach there at the end to poke check the puck to his offensive players. This clip between US and Canada from last year's World Championship highlights two good instances of dictating the D zone in two different ways. So first, we've got Alex Carpenter, number 25 here. She immediately isolates puck carrier Rebecca Johnston and limits Johnston's options to attack higher percentage areas with good stick positioning and skating ability. Johnston has to delay a decision, forces a pass to the middle, and then we've got US defenseman Kayla Barn immediately isolates and pressures Poulin to dictate the play. Barnes uses her stick positioning to steer Poulin back down the wall, forces a stop by going through her hands and body to close off, and then the US has good puck support to win the puck and transition on the breakout. The next one here, again, is a puck race between Jocelyn Larocque and Amanda Kessel. So they're pretty even to start as this puck goes onto the wall, but we'll watch how Larocque, the defenseman in white, uses her body and edge work to seal off Kessel from the puck by going through her hands, first forcing her off balance, and gets her stick on puck to disrupt possession. Here's one from Team Canada. So as the puck goes in the corner, we'll watch number 17 in front of the net as she uses her stick and body to steer the puck carrier to the perimeter, matches speed with good skating technique, and stays stick on puck to create a turnover for a breakout play. Canada gets going the other way. And the last one here is another Team Canada clip where we're going to again see two great examples here in this sequence of quickly isolating the puck carrier and sealing off in back-to-back sequences. So first, the winger does a good job, steers the puck carrier down the wall with good stick. Then the defenseman here immediately jumps on the puck, using strong stick and body positioning to limit the effective ice. The guy has nowhere to go, cycles the puck down low. The next player is right on top of them. Again, immediately taking away time and space, stick on puck, go through the body to prevent any scoring threat. Canada wins puck with good puck support and looks to make that next play. So we've identified the skills from the top down, saw a few examples, and now we're going to look to build these skills from the bottom up. So we'll start with our feet now. Our progressions start with some fundamental skating skills that are required to have success in dictating the D zone. This includes T-pushes, hip openers, hip swivels, and power pushes. Next, we'll look to build in the hands and body, looking to use our stick to steer the puck carrier away from effective ice, have control of stick on puck, and sealing off by going through the puck carrier's hands to dispossess them from the puck. And lastly, we'll add in the eyes and add in the element of awareness to implement making reads to be able to adjust to changing situations. And as a reminder, we are looking at these skills as leverage points, where again, a relatively small improvement in these areas can have a big impact on the ability to dictate the play and regain possession in the D zone. So our first skill is the T-push. So this is a fundamental movement that allows us to really focus on staying square, loading our weight, and getting directional power. We'll see a few good examples here of players having really good knee and ankle flexion to stay low and balanced, generating power from their back leg with a strong push and full extension, while also keeping a quiet upper body where they have full control. So a good example here is eyes are up, shoulders are square, full extension as he gets power from that back leg. And this is also where we start to bring players' attention to the ability to control and separate their upper body and lower body. And within these first few skating skills, we do focus on using the dot line as our reference point on the ice, but we'll gradually shrink down the area to implement these skills in the most game-like ways possible. So the progressions all here aim to be very intentional with the use of spacing on the ice as we are learning and developing these skills. So our next progression focuses on the hip opener movement. Hip opener mechanics allow us to build up two important parts. The first being the technique of loading weight and changing direction without crossing over. And the second being the movement direction to begin closing space on the puck carrier when we transition from backward to forward. So the hip opener movement here also forces players to be aware of movement of their upper body by making sure they control their stick and shoulders as they change direction. So again, you can see his knee and ankle flexion, eyes are up, upper body is quiet. Next, we look to add in our hip swivel movement. So the hip swivel is a movement that allows players to pick up speed and stay square to the opponent with minimal friction. So it's going to allow our players to be prepared, ready for a change of speed from the puck carrier without having to cross over our feet. So we see a few good examples here of players staying fluid on their outside and inside edges and keeping control of their upper body. So again, we're not seeing a lot of movement in the upper body. We're just seeing good edge work as we move down the ice. Next, we're going to combine our hip opener and hip swivel together to focus on the body control to consistently stay square to our opponent. That's one of the most important parts. We want to maintain speed, stay square, and limit crossovers. So it's important players continue to focus on leading with their stick to stay in that athletic position. Here, the player will stop and reset each time, but the main part is that she's never crossing over her feet and that she builds confidence in blending some of these footwork movements together. So we must have our players be confident in their edges and skating ability to effectively defend and dictate in the D zone. Our last sequence here is the power pushes. So again, these are where we're focused on being able to generate power without having to take our foot off the ice. We'll add in a hip opener as we transition sides here. But again, it allows players to match and maintain speed with the puck carrier while also building that ability to stay square and balanced at all times, ready to maneuver and change directions quickly. So this gives us a solid base to effectively control time and space, and especially as we look to limit effective ice for the puck carrier without ever getting unbalanced. This skill will progress nicely into our next sequence, where we start blending these movements together and adding in the hands element as well. So again, we'll see a good hip opener here, and then as she changes direction, immediately getting in those power pushes to gain speed without having to cross over. So now that we have our foundational skating movements, we then look to layer on our stick and body positioning awareness within the D zone, while also beginning to build in some game-like cues. So that's an important part as well. This first progression blends together our skating sequence. So we'll see hip opener and power push combinations. And now we're also adding in our stick positioning to maintain awareness of stick on puck and our relation of space to the puck carrier. So now we can start connecting those micro moments of isolate, terminate, and dispossess, and start seeing where those come into play. So on this first one here, it's a continuous drill where we have the puck carrier outside of the dot lines in the zone, and the defending player uses a quick hip opener and power pushes to stay balanced and agile. The main part here is the defensive player is focused on having stick on puck the entire time. We're being very intentional with the ice geography here, so that allows us to have players to focus on keeping the puck carrier on that perimeter of the zone. Once the puck carrier gets around the zone, they'll move the puck to the next player in line, then they gap up to become the defending player. So it's a continuous progression that allows players to move through both of the positions. Players are focusing on keeping their eyes on the body and using that peripheral vision to stay stick on puck. After that, now we've come comfortable with the skating skills and the stick on puck, and then now we look to shrink the skill area even further. So if we think back to those game clip examples, there's a pretty tight area where players are working. So we're going to work in a small area and layer in the moment now where we seal off the puck carrier to terminate the puck carrier's momentum and regain possession. So when we talk about sealing off the puck carrier, now instead of just focusing on staying stick on puck, now we look to take that action and that movement further and have the defender go through the puck carrier's hands, establish body position, win the puck, and then look to move it quickly. So this drill combines the footwork with the stick and body positioning and allows players to focus on the timing and elements of sealing off. So like our first progression, this will be a continuous flow where the defender will stay with the puck carrier and then seal off to win possession of the puck. Once they do that, they look to move the puck quickly to the next person in line. And again, the puck carrier now becomes a defending player. So players get to do both roles. You'll notice here, players will use their power pushes and different edge work they'll stay stick on puck and then they're going through the puck carrier's hands to execute off. And then once they've done that, it's their task to control the puck and look to move it quickly. So again, we see some power pushes, working on the timing and the feel of going through the puck carrier's hands and looking to close them off and control that next play. So win the puck, look to move it. So the next sequence here becomes adding in an affordance where the puck carrier is told to cut back anywhere between the goal line and the top of the circles, and then the defender has to seal off. So it's that same pattern, but now we're looking to add in some cues to build recognition while also starting to make decisions. You've got to make the read of when that puck carrier is going to cut back. This is where the defender needs to stay on their inside edges and be ready to change directions quickly. You can see how the players are using their stick to steer the puck carrier down the wall, and on the cutback, they look to match opponent's speed to position themselves to seal them off. Next, now we're layering not only the ability to dictate the puck carrier, win the puck back, but now we're adding in the awareness to make the next play. So now it starts getting a little bit more fun because we're letting the players combine the elements to not only shut down the puck carrier and regain possession, but now they've got to quickly recognize where the next play and where their support option is. So in this one, the puck gets sent from high to low, and the puck carrier is in puck protection mode along the wall. The defending player's aim is to shut them down as quickly as possible, regain possession, and move the puck to an open teammate that is mimicking a breakout sequence. So again, we'll see here, the defending player is trying to win the puck back, looking to go through the hands, and then immediately look to make that next play. So we have some players we gave them the option to kind of be an option on the breakout wherever they'd like, so that the defending player, when they win the puck, has to make the read. So the initial sequence here is built as a one-on-one with a quick outlet pass once the defender wins possession. Now, though, we want to add in some different reads and decisions. So the next progression really adds in the awareness and the reads piece. So we're going to start the drill the exact same way, but now we have the option to send in one additional offensive player to make it a 2-on-1, or we send in one offensive player and one additional defensive player to make it a 2-on-2. So the biggest aspect of this is the shoulder check that you're going to see here, and that initial scan by the defender. They've got to quickly know what the situation is. While the puck is coming down the wall, they've got to make that scan to know if the puck carrier is alone and it's staying as a one-on-one, in which they could close off space more quickly, or if they're outnumbered in a 2-on-1 situation, or if they have defensive help and it's a 2-on-2 situation. So again, a good quick scan here, recognize it's a 2-on-1 situation, so she's got to make a different read than she would have if it was a 1-on-1. And then this last one here, it's a 2-on-2 situation where initially you'll see the 2D actually overcommit to one player. So they have to communicate and sort that out. And then again, we're working on the communication and awareness skills where they have to adjust their coverage to keep the offensive players out of high percentage scoring areas. And it's sorting out that coverage while utilizing those progressive skating, stick, and awareness skills that we've built to this point. So a fun drill we use to work on these wall play situations in particular is one we call triple wall play one-on-one. So this drill allows defensive players to read, dictate, and try and disrupt the puck carrier in 3 different but similar one-on-one situations, because each play starts on the wall. So the first puck comes low to high. The second puck here is going to come high to low. So the puck carrier has to pick it up. Defensive player immediately tries to close off. And the third puck is a pickup below the goal line. So trying to dictate them, keep them out of those high percentage scoring areas. And each one forces the defenders to have to reset their gap, understand their stick positioning, and again, force the puck carrier to the outside to limit those high quality chances. So the drill forces defensive players to constantly be adjusting to the situation, their footwork, stick, and body positioning, and identifying how they can most quickly shut down the offensive player. So on this third one here, again, constantly scanning, seeing where the offensive player is coming from, and then looking to close off quickly by getting good stick on puck. And then lastly, as we develop these skills, we want to try and replicate game-like situations as much as possible when building out these progressions. So our last piece here is a small area game. It's going to start as a 2-on-2, and then there's 3 outlets. We've got 2 outlet players placed up high and then 1 below the goal line. To change possession, the teams must utilize their defensive skills to win the puck, and then they're quickly asked to move the puck to any of the 3 outlets in order to transition to offense. So here we're looking for players' footwork and stick positioning. They're making reads to recognize the changing situation, both offensively and defensively. And again, implementing some of that communication and those skills as well. So the fun part here is you can utilize some different constraints here, such as the pace of the puck movement, amount of possession time before a play needs to be made. You can change the number or the placement of the outlets. But what we're always looking for, though, is those fundamentals that we've built up to this point and recognizing opportunities to use those progressions in a game-like situation. So we'll see some puck movement here. Again, defensive players are constantly having to move around, identify how they can get it. And again, we're looking for some of those movements we worked on earlier. The player in the Red Sox here will use a nice hip swivel to stay square to their opponent as we wrap up that game. So a lot of opportunities to be creative with that based on the needs and opportunities for your players. So to recap quickly, the most important things are identifying those leverage point skills, which include breaking down the footwork, stick and body positioning, and the awareness to make reads. And then additionally, we always need to tie back to the why when developing these skills. When we don't have possession of the puck in our D zone, we want to immediately limit the effective ice, isolate the puck carrier and limit their options, and have that mentality to not sit back and defend, but to dictate and win the puck back as quickly as possible to transition to offense. So that's the recap of dictating the D zone and the important skills associated with that. I want to thank you all for joining. Hope you can utilize these skills and progressions with your players and teams, and best of luck the rest of this season.